Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on my personal Minehut server. Today, we have a couple of updates, and that there in the background is probably the fifth wandering trader that showed up in the past 4 days. So we're going to go take care of him here in just a moment. But we've got a couple of updates of some changes that we've made, and I promise that the next episode here on the server is going to be different, where we actually showcase and do some time lapsing. I had a little bit of an odd weekend, which made this project a little bit further back than I would have anticipated. But as we talked in last week's episode, there were a couple of changes that we were needing to make in a couple of big projects. And I actually completed one of them. As you can see, there is now no longer a flower farm hanging out over here, which is both exciting and sad. But with that flower farm out of the way, we can actually have a much before I slam my face into the ground there, we can actually have a much better access to our castle build over here, which is going to be a very large undertaking, and we've been doing very well with collecting some of our vines for that project. You'll also notice that there is a very large hole over here in the side of our creeper farm, and that is because I have taken out or blocked out the area that we will be using for the pixel art mural that I have planned to put up here. And place your bets in the comments down below as to what that's going to be, because it's going to take some time to put together, but I think it'll really tie the build together once it's in. So the other things that we've done is I made an adjustment out at the Guardian farm, a very minor adjustment, which we'll get to in just a moment. But let's come over here, check this guy. He does not have Nautilus shells, so he unfortunately does not get to stick around much longer. And that is yet another wandering trader head that we have. Now let's also check and see if we get any llama heads. Didn't appear that we got one there. We did pick up the leads though. We didn't get one there either, which is a bit unfortunate. Llama heads aren't guaranteed to drop like the wandering trader heads are, so let's have a quick look at our current progress on that. Assuming this chest opens for me. There we are. Now it's open. So we've got 4 different wandering traders that have shown up, and you'll see here that we have collected 2 gray trader llama heads. We've got 2 different types of bees, a couple of cats, a pig, a chicken, and a sheep. I think the chicken head is my favorite so far, but I do know that there are other heads out there. Phantom chest sitting open. But there are others out there that make me quite happy as well. Another large change that I've made is over this way, and well, maybe you've already been able to tell, but I've expanded the little walkway path with a shovel, matting down the grass here, out towards our neighboring village here, which is quite fun. And the path used to just split up this way, but I've put in an extra path variant that comes over this way and put in a little outlet pond area. I might end up throwing a lily pad in there at some point. Well, depends on how I feel. But you'll notice that the outer edges of this are lined with a coarse dirt to give it kind of that feel of, the rougher dirt edges around a pond. And you'll see that the pond itself emanates from a naturally generated waterfall. I've modified it a little bit to make its way down here and then put in a little bridge that takes us up over the top to our librarian's house, which is still unfortunately vacant, as well as the rest of the village, which includes my farmers, which are still doing quite well down here in their little hideaway house. And there was an iron golem running around at some point, but I don't know where he managed to wander off to. The other thing that we have done, or at least started here, it's a bit perilous as it currently stands. Let's fill in this little pit. But it's actually just over here on the left. Now, I intend on making some sort of automated entrance door, but you'll see that I have a large open space that I will eventually light up with some better things and do some more decor in here as well to make it a little more appealing. But you'll notice that it comes back quite a ways, and I actually might have to make this bigger, but this is intended to be the exhibit area for our mob head museum. I just need to brick out exactly how many heads there are and then come up with a set of, well, a way to put them all on display as we continue collecting them, as that's going to be quite a bit of fun. All right, and then as we come out here to the Ocean Monument area, you'll notice some of this change that I've made, and this is in terms of bricking out a collection system for these guardians. And it's going to be an undertaking, to be sure, but what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to have a collection system that allows the guardians to kind of get funneled all into the center here, where I have my conduit set up right in the middle of this Ocean Monument. You can kind of see the prismarine outlines there. As the conduit, I think, is going to be a decently efficient method of actually collecting the drops off of the guardians. Yes, I could use my sword and other things, but since guardians have an amount of damage and thorns back that they send to you, it's really not my fondest idea of taking them out by hand. But you'll remember we dug our icebergs down here around the base and the bottom. We're also going to need to work something out down here underneath the Guardian Ocean Monument, just to make sure that the Guardians themselves are not getting trapped underneath. So we'll probably end up making something that'll allow them to be driven out towards the edges a little bit easier, or maybe even just make the whole underside an empty, vacant void so the Guardians don't spawn down there. So that'll be interesting as well. And the other idea here is you can kind of see that this is meant to be kind of a collection system that I'm going to tier in. You can see there the wood that's at each little section here. This is meant to indicate the areas where the water runoff will end. So I'm not certain if I want to leave that at sea level or bring it up even a little bit higher and then allow the run-in to come here towards the middle. And then in the middle section, we should be able to put together a collection area as well for the different goods there. And you just saw that Guardian takes damage from the conduit that's active right here. So it is indeed working as intended. And I hopefully can even salvage a couple of these ink sacs that are being brought in by these Guardians as they target them, as they don't really like them being present. And that's a project that will be certain to time-lapse as we get it put together. The only other things that I've thought about putting together but don't really want to start on until we have that checklist that we made in our last episode here on the server filled out is making sure that we can put together a couple of nether-type farms. Let's come over to our nether fortress and check, because I had heard some rumors that with the updates from 1.16, or the updates from 1.15 to 1.16, there were a couple of issues with the generation of, or not the generation of, but the functionality of nether fortresses. So let's see if that was indeed affected and affects our nether fortress that we have over here. So it does unfortunately appear to be the case that we're going to have to go hunting for another nether fortress when it comes to putting together a blaze farm, or when it comes to... So after scrounging around for a little bit, it does seem to be that this nether fortress is broken in terms of the wither skeleton spawning, which is unfortunate because I was hoping to get another beacon set up at some point or sometime soon, but that doesn't seem to be an achievable goal in the near future, unfortunately. So we might end up doing a video where we walk through a location of a new nether fortress, but let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing, because that would definitely be quite the adventure, trekking through previously undiscovered and unexplored areas of this nether. And at some point, I also intend on getting up on top of the roof of the nether, and that would probably actually be where I would set up my gold farm that I've mentioned a little bit earlier here. But let me know what you think of our little projects that we've put together. And again, I promise that in this next episode, we're actually going to have a fully fledged time lapse that goes into one of the aforementioned projects that we've had a look at today. So never you worry. But thanks again for watching. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please feel free to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily content, as there's videos coming your way every single day. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, as that subscription's free and easy, and we are nearing 200 subscribers. So if you want to help me reach that milestone, that would greatly help me out. So anyway, thanks for your time, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye-bye.